Alright, today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at this latest retro gaming hard drive that I found on Amazon. Generic PlayZone branding, $80. You get a 1 terabyte SSD. This is designed specifically to be used on Windows PCs, doesn't matter, laptop, desktop, anything like that. But if you're out there wondering, hey, can I plug this straight into my smart TV? The answer is no, you're not going to get it to work. Same thing with an Xbox. Even though the modern day Xboxes are pretty much computers, this is still not going to be recognized if you plug it into an Xbox. So keep that in mind. You will need a Windows PC to connect this hard drive to actually access and play the games and run the emulators. With this thing touting over 16,000 games, over 4,000 3D games, and 80 plus AAA titles, I'm very curious to see how truthful that is, how those numbers line up, and what kind of performance I can get on my gaming PC. I'll put the recommended PC specifications down in the video description box below. That way you can check your system against that and see if something like this would even work for your gaming setup. So without further ado, let's plug it in and power it up. All right, first things first, when you connect this drive to your PC, you're going to see a couple of different options here. You got folders as well as shortcuts to the applications for those user interfaces. You have the user manual. Highly suggest clicking on that, reading through it. It'll give you the minimum specifications for PC requirements if you want to play the more advanced modern games that are included on this hard drive. But let's just go ahead and dive right into the toolbox and tips. This is where you're going to find a couple of the necessary software updates and things you'll need to play some of these games and run some of these user interfaces on your PC if it's a little bit older. I've already installed all this stuff from previous gaming things. Steam requires a lot of this already, so I already had this on my PC, but chances are if you're using something that's a little bit older to run this hard drive, you'll need to at the very least install these Microsoft redistributable files and possibly DirectX. So it's broken up into 3 user interfaces. You've got Launchbox, Playnite, and Retrobat. So let's just go ahead and open up Retrobat and see what we have inside. Got the little splash screen. Alright, so we've got the music included. We got Neo Geo MVS games. It says 160 loaded up on there. Neo Geo Pocket, Pocket Color. It says there's 11,784 games just under the Retrobat. So I'm already going to tell you that's not going to be accurate as far as actual games. There's probably 11,000 files on here, but there's definitely not that many games. And you can quickly tell by looking at MAME. You can see, very easy to navigate, straightforward. You get a little preview image of the game you're trying to look at, but as you can see, there's what I would call duplicate files on here, mainly just because they have different variation and region files, which accounts for a lot of the bloated numbers on this game. So like you got Alex Kidd, set 2, and that's why you can never really take the game count on these hard drives seriously, because a lot of times it includes multiple region copies of certain ROMs, and it just really makes that game list total inaccurate, to say the least. So let's go ahead and back out of MAME and see what else we have. Got Atari Lynx, PC Engine, Game & Watch, Famicom, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, and back to Neo Geo. So that does it for the Retrobat. Basically, it's going to be your older handheld devices and your MAME games on this one. So let's go ahead and check out Launchbox and see what kind of offerings we have there. And this honestly is my preferred user interface of the 3, whether it be Playnite or Retrobat. It's just cleaner, much more easy to navigate, and there's less fluff and added filler as far as, graphics and just unnecessary bloat on your system. Speaking of systems, we got all our major systems down here on the left hand side, and this is, as you can see, where kind of the bread and butter of this hard drive is going to be. This is where a lot of the games you're going to want to play are going to reside. You got 3DO games, decent collection of a rather obscure system. Microsoft Xbox, this is the original Xbox. A couple of the heavy hitter games on there. Xbox One, this is honestly just Windows PC games that are also available out there on Xbox One. This isn't an Xbox One emulator or anything like that. This is just the Windows based versions of these games. A couple of them on there. Nintendo 64, gonna have pretty much the entire library, best I can tell. Same goes for NES and a couple of those older consoles. Gamecube, a good healthy assortment here. Not everything by any means, but all your major titles that you would know and love for GameCube. They've done a really good job of kind of, piecing together some of the heavy hitter titles for all these systems, because, there's only so much space on these hard drives. You got to be, a little bit choosy with what you include. Nintendo Switch, a small assortment of games on there. Some big titles, some lesser known titles. Nintendo Wii, we're only getting 4 games. All 4 of them are great though. Wii U, again, small assortment, but great games nonetheless. Dreamcast, smaller assortment, but all your big titles. Sega Genesis, you're gonna have pretty much the entire collection. I'm not gonna bother scrolling through it. Sega Saturn, again, a lot of the choice favorites. PlayStation 1, massive collection. Again, not gonna spend a whole lot of time going through it, but it's gonna have all your favorite titles on here. PlayStation 2. Three, only a small handful of games there. PlayStation 4, again, kind of like the Xbox One, these are actually just Windows-based games. This isn't like a PlayStation 4 emulator. Same goes for the PlayStation 5 listings on here. PSP. Super Nintendo, you're gonna have the full collection here. And this Windows right here it's honestly picking up my Steam games, so I'm not even gonna bother showing that because those aren't included on this hard drive. So let's move over to the last one, the Playnite user interface. So the third option, Playnite, these are gonna be your modern PC games. Several of them are indie titles, but there are some big AAA titles included as well. Battletoads, Dark Souls, got a good healthy mix here. Classic Final Fantasy remakes, Prototype, Red Dead Redemption, Resident Evil games, Persona, Ninja Gaiden, Silent Hill, Shredder's Revenge, the new Turtles Splintered Fate game, definitely a fun one to play, Witcher. So, you got some big titles on here, but for the most part, this is primarily indie games, and that kind of rounds it up for this mix of user interfaces. So I'll go ahead and show you some gameplay that I've got from this hard drive using my gaming PC, and you be the judge if these kind of games are something you'd be interested in.
Checkpoint.
And that does it for the quick little look at the PlayZone 1TB retro gaming hard drive. If you're interested in picking one of these up, I'll put a product link where I found it on Amazon down in the video description box below. And guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on these little retro gaming devices. Are you pro? Are you con? Do you think they're the worst thing to happen to gaming? Do you think they're the best thing to happen to gaming? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that like button. Share this video with your friends if you found the information helpful. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. It really means a lot.